Welcome to Coffee and Candor. This is Chris.
Ross.
Brandy.
And Amber.
My God. All right. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about the Susan Smith case.
Well, let's talk about it.
25 years old.
25th anniversary of this case. And, like, I don't know if a lot of our listeners are aware, but this was, like, one that hit me, like, really hard because when she did this, it was her two young boys she killed, and they just so happened to be the same ages and, like, age difference as my two young boys. And as a young mom, it just... I just remember being almost paralyzed in front of the TV and crying. And basically what this piece of human garbage did, she was separated from her husband, and she had started seeing a guy where she worked. Like, I think he was like, it was like some kind of plant or something, and she worked in the office, and he was like either the owner or head honcho's son. And he had made an offhanded remark that he did not want children in his life. That he wanted to settle down, but didn't necessarily want to have children. And so this skeezy bitch thinks, I've got children, that's a problem. So what she did...
I bet he didn't want to settle down with a murderer either.
Right, somebody that murders their own babies, like, oh, okay.
Like, sorry, I would take the kids before I took the murderer.
Right, like, you know, somehow I think...
Yeah, I can't see any guy saying, oh, you murdered your kids?
For me?
Okay, cool.
Wow.
Did that make you my girlfriend?
Did we just become best friends? But yeah, like, so what she did is she put them in their car seats, and they were like 1 and
3,
barely 3. Yeah. I mean, they were little guys. And she,
3 years old and 14 months old.
So she put them in their car seats, buckled them in, and she took them to this lake. And
It was a boat ramp, wasn't it?
She pulled on the boat ramp, let the brake off, got out, and watched. She stood there and watched while those children went down into the water and the bubbles came up, and she
had plenty of time
to go,
run
this is a terrible mistake, or
Man, that's some cold shit.
die trying to save them, whatever. She cold-bloodedly watched them roll down there and them crying for her. And I just thought, whew. So then, of course, she did the whole, a black man abducted them. That was her story.
Oh, classic.
Oh, you know.
She said, I was at a traffic light or something, and a black guy carjacked her and took her kids.
And she was crying. I'll never forget the way she wailed and cried, like, ooh, you know, just so... I guess she was trying to, like, approximate what a person whose heart was broken would do.
Not a single tear, but she made all the
noises.
Yeah,
you know, and
she faked it.
She acted it out.
She did, and then I'll also never forget her little old handsome estranged husband standing there, and I mean, he looked sick. His eyes looked like he'd been punched in the face because they were so from crying. He looked so shattered and pathetic, and But in his grief, he's trying to support her, and he's rubbing her shoulder and patting her and whispering it's going to be okay. And I'm just like, this woman had so much in life that she clearly didn't.
And threw it all away, not for a man, but for the chance of this motherfucker. Something tells me he probably wasn't the biggest catch,
right?
And she's, oh my God,
he certainly wasn't like a John F. Kennedy Jr. Like, he was just like maybe a big fish in a small pond, maybe
like a small fish in a small pond.
Or a medium fish in a medium pond. I don't know, but like,
there's definitely a fish and a pond. Yeah,
but I mean,
he's near there.
Obviously she's mentally ill. I mean, and has no sense of.
So, where is she being housed? Is she in... Sookie.
Sookie's appalled.
Sookie needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, she's still in prison. She will
that's what I was going to ask, if she's in prison or if she was in a mental facility.
No, she was in prison. They tried the whole mental thing, but...
Yeah, didn't she at first, or after it was kind of a thing she did it, didn't she try to say, well, she was trying to commit suicide?
Yeah,
she was
and then everybody was like, well, wait a minute. then why aren't you in there with them?
Yeah, I was going to kill my kids and then myself, but of course she changed her mind.
Yeah, that was her thing. She was like, well, I wanted to kill myself, but I couldn't leave my babies, so...
Yeah, it's not like they didn't have a father.
Well, and not only that, if you were trying to kill yourself, it's funny that they were in the car and you were on the ramp.
Maybe she just doesn't know how that works.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She's had a difficult time in prison.
She's been sleeping with correction officers.
She's just gross.
Well, you got to get it where you can.
They were strapped in their car seats. Yeah, and the guy she was dating, it was like on the DL. They were like sneaking around to see each other. She's in Leith Correctional Institution.
So I wonder who the moped was. Was it her or was it him?
Oh.
Do I need to explain that?
No.
Okay.
I think they're...
I guess I better for the people that are listening. A moped.
Everybody took a ride.
Well, fun to ride, but you don't want to let your friends see.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking she was the moped. She's 48 years old now, and she's been in there for 25 years, so she's spent more than half of her life in jail. She's had a lot of disciplinary infractions, self-mutilation, drug use.
How do you have... See, that's something that bothers me, is how the fuck are drugs getting into prisons?
Oh, honey.
Chris, you watched Orange is the New Black.
Yeah,
you know how it
works. I'm not naive. It's just fucking that of all the... No, I'm fucking not. Of all the places where drugs shouldn't be... They catch people all
the time throwing shit over the fence.
Yeah. Have you seen... Do you watch the things from the Arkansas DOC?
To smuggle it in.
I don't know, the last... I've been watching their Facebook page, and the last 2 or 3, like, Monday mornings... They've found backpacks with phones and drugs thrown in the trash, thrown over in the ditch. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's been right here,
So, she said something about that, and I said they shouldn't have fucking picked those up. They should have watched who went and got them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the one guy where they had it like in some shed out in a field somewhere.
Yeah, and they were like, look, this shit we confiscated. And I said, nah, man, they should have put some eyes on that because they got this, a little bitty thing when they could have caught a whole lot more.
They could have got the whole big thing.
Listen to this. She says, I'm not the monster society thinks I am.
Yeah, the fuck she is.
You are.
She most certainly the fuck is.
You're probably worse. Mm-hmm. Because she's had at least 6 times in the past 2 years, she's been had severe enough medical issues that she's been transferred to another facility for treatment.
I wonder if that's on purpose.
Probably. Well, I know when I worked as a court reporter and we dealt with the prisons, they would call that, what would they call it? It was something like some kind of vacation. Mm-hmm. Basically, it was just to see a change of scenery,
right?
And plus the drive there was a big treat. Like when you don't have anything,
I get
go on a car ride is.
I've been considering this. I say considering it like I can fucking make it happen. But I've been thinking that this might be a better and better idea as the world descends farther and farther into madness. Is the idea of exiling motherfuckers to the middle of the desert.
I'm down with it. My God, this is part of her letter. About what Amber was talking.
Letter to who?
To the prosecutor.
Just an open letter, I think. To
a Carolina newspaper. Mm-hmm. And like when Amber was saying, "I'm not the monster," she said something went very wrong that night. I was not myself. I was a good mother and I loved my boys.
Right up until I killed them.
There was no motive, as it was not even a planned event. I wasn't in my right mind.
Not even a planned event. I was like, hey, y'all want to go get some ice cream? Nope.
Yeah.
The boat ramp.
Yeah, exactly.
And the father of the boys did an interview in 2010. He said he's never recovered. He said there's always this nagging, gnawing heartache every day, even when he's not like consciously thinking about the boys. I mean, I can't even imagine.
Hillary didn't go out, did she? Okay. Yeah, no, I can imagine.
I know to take her diaper off if she goes outside.
Now we just shamed Hillary on the podcast.
Well, I've let her slip out and not realized until she was out in the yard.
But yeah, I will just never forget this case because all her theatrics, how broken her little estranged husband was, how quick the secret lover was to like farm her.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Part of this, because they've proven he had no knowledge.
Yeah, I would have been the first time I heard about it. I'd have been at the police station. Hey, whoa, look, we was getting down, but I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, and that's basically what he did. He was like, I would have, it never occurred to me that she would take that as some sort of.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, I personally think that they should execute her.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Why haven't they? What
She'll
state
be
is
up
she
for
in?
a chance of parole in 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She didn't get death penalty, and I don't understand how she
How?
didn't get the death penalty. She just got life.
What state is she in?
What state? Yeah.
South Carolina.
All right. Well, I don't know how it is in South
I
Carolina,
don't
but
either.
I'm almost certain that to get the death penalty, whatever you're accused of, you have to be found guilty of.
It's probably because she said it wasn't planned.
Well, yeah, and if she wasn't found guilty of first degree murder, then I don't think that she's eligible for the death penalty.
It was probably like she said it wasn't.
If it was second degree or anything other than
But
capital.
then in the letter she says, well, I was going to kill myself and my kids.
So it was in fact planned.
Plan. Yeah.
But after she's convicted of something else,
she goes back and forth because, she was not in her right mind. She was mentally ill, but she did plan it, but she didn't plan it. Like, she's just grasping
there
at
so
anything.
Many damn stories. It was,
and I'll never forget, 2020 Dateline, all that, interviewed the sheriff of that county after, in the months after. And he was just shattered. You could just see him as he was trying to tell the story. He was like, early on when she was talking about the carjacking, things didn't add up. But we just
didn't think of
couldn't fathom that this young mother did this. We thought maybe there was something she was trying to hide, but it wasn't until it became painfully obvious that we realized what it was. He was like, even us, we see awful things. This is just, we just didn't think this was where it was going to go.
I can still see her like it was yesterday, giving that interview
that press
outside.
Conference.
I can't really remember the husband, but I remember her. I remember how she looked and what she was wearing and that sobbing that she was
And her
doing.
permed hair. I remember him. He
frizzy hair.
He was wearing, jeans and a button up, and he had dark hair, and he was a real handsome guy, and I just remember how loving he was being to her. And I remember, because after it came out, they play those interviews over and over, and I would just think, God, don't you know how angry he is?
Oh, yeah.
That, she sat there.
Definitely.
Not only did she take his babies, but she sat there and played the victim and let him,
See,
to me, he had if anybody should go out of their mind and do something awful.
Does whatever you were looking at, does that say what she was actually convicted of?
I can find it.
No, I just figured in the article it would say it somewhere. I mean, if it doesn't, then But the way that she acted, you can't tell me that wasn't premeditated. I mean, and like I said,
2 counts of murder.
But that's just what it says, murder.
It just says 2 counts of murder, life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 30 years.
Okay. Yeah, because if it was capital murder, that's the only way she'd have been eligible. The only way that the prosecuting attorney would have been eligible to ask for the death penalty.
Now, in South Carolina, she could have gotten the death penalty. It says prosecutors wanted the death penalty for her, but ultimately she received punishment of life in prison.
Oh, okay. So then she very well she did get convicted of capital murder, and then the judge just chose not to give her the death penalty. Okay.
See, this is like what I remember. This is like I remember her in this blue, and that's what I remember.
I remember an interview.
Yeah.
They were outside.
I think they were holding hands to go to it.
Frizzy hair was blowing.
And she was crying and wailing.
I just forgot her name. What was it?
Susan Smith. His name was David. Yeah. See, this is a screenshot of when they were given before they figured out she did it, parents of missing children. And I mean, what would it take to just sit there and keep telling the story? Maybe, I wonder if she had to convince herself, because to sit there and pretend and not just fall apart in front of the cameras. Would you have to convince yourself that there was somebody?
Why would you fall apart if you're the one that did it?
Yeah, no
But
well, sometimes people do stuff and then
they regret it. But
they regret it, or they just feel like there's no way they can hold this up, and everything becomes overwhelming, and they just break down.
Right.
God.
Oh no, but I mean that's some soulless shit.
I think that was one of the first cases. That and the West Memphis 3, and I'm not sure which one happened first. They were all near the same time. But those were the two cases that happened in my young adulthood that really hit me hard. This one because I was in